Taking risk is part of being a man. You often see this the most in young boys. They don't just go to a playground to play. Young boys attack the playground. I mean, they're going after it. They're jumping on things. They're jumping off of things. They jump out of swings. They turn the ground into lava. They play war. They'll take things that aren't meant to be war and turn them into guns. It's just the way boys are. They all do this because risk-taking is something that's in us as men. It's part of who we are. Let's learn why that's important and why men should take risks today. Let's jump in. One of the themes of romantic comedies is the point where the guy usually ends up taking a risk. It's usually the guy, and what he does is he goes after the girl in the movie. He figures out, okay, there's something up. I've got to take a chance. And there's usually music playing in the background. Everyone gets all excited. He's going to go. He's going to tell her how much he loves her, how he really cares, and he's going to take the risk because she could just dump him. She could say, I don't even like you. So he takes the risk. Well, of course, the music's playing in the background. The camera angle's just right. The lighting is just right. Real life's not like that. But the crowd gets excited and he makes his confession of love. And of course, she responds, I love you too. And everybody gets happy and there's lots of crying. But here's the deal. That's just an illustration of what we do as men. We take risk. Our life as men always contains risk. And that's important. It shouldn't be something we run away from. We should embrace this as men. We don't want to get away from it. We want to hold on to it because risk-taking is important to us. Now you say, why is that? Well, risk helps us build our courage. Risk helps us overcome failures. And risk helps us grow relationally. Okay, the first thing, risk helps us build our courage. Here's the reality of risk. They're risky. There's no guarantees in life. There's no guarantees that you won't fail or get shot down when you take a risk. That's why it's called a risk. And that's what makes it scary. But that's a reality of life. You may never do anything and still have damage or get hurt. What we have to do as men is not let the fear of failure keep us from going after something, keep us from taking risk. The key is that we're trying and we're taking those risks. That's important to us as men. Because in that trying, our courage is built up, our resolve is solidified, and we discover parts of ourselves we didn't even know existed. If we never took risk, we wouldn't know those were there. We see the areas we can be strong in when we take risk. We overcome fears in our life when we take risk. We should start taking more risk as men in life. Now, that doesn't mean go out and do dumb stuff. You don't want to do that. You want to have wisdom. But it may be doing something that means taking a chance. Maybe learning something you've never learned before. Maybe it's starting a business or going after someone in a relationship or starting a new job in a new location. Sometimes we just need to take a risk as men because that helps us become better men because it builds our courage up. Hey guys, check out David Maxwell Coaching. There's resources there. They'll help you grow and develop as a man. All right, the second area of why we need to take risks is it helps us learn how to overcome failures. You see, what we have to do is understand there's a positive and a negative side of risk. Some risks are going to work out, and those are great, and we tell stories about those. Some risks, they're going to fail. They're just not going to work. That's why it's called a risk. And you know what? That's life. It happens to everybody. It's not just you. It's not that everybody else has it good and you have it terrible. We can't run from the fact that taking risk means you're going to make it sometimes and you're not going to make it sometimes. But that's what you do is you learn and you grow and you get better. Too many men are trying to live their life with no risk at all. I don't want to take any risk. Well, that means they're probably not living to their full potential as men. It's impossible. Life is risky. You walk outside, it's risky. What you have to do is learn how to manage life amidst the risk. And as you do that, you find ways to overcome failures. Like my wife and I, in the early days of our marriage, we started cooking and trying to learn how to be better cooks. And we had this policy. If we ever failed in a meal, it was automatic pizza night. And that helped us try new meals. And sometimes in that failing, we got better as cooks. And you as a man, sometimes in your failure, that's when you get better as a man. A lot of business people will tell you all about their failures. Why? Because they learn so much from them. Many of us, we learn the most lessons from our failures. So why would we take those lessons away from us? I'm not saying run around looking for failure. I'm not saying be stupid in your risk. What I'm saying is you can't not take risk because it's going to hurt you. Some lessons in life just come through failure. They come when things just don't work out the way you thought they would. But you don't want to let the fear of failure keep you from fully developing as a man. Okay, the third thing is that risk helps us grow relationally. Relationships are an example of how risk can help us. A lot of women out there would prefer the man to approach them. Some guys take the risk and do it. Some guys don't. I can promise you the guys who don't take a chance don't get into that relationship. The guys who do may get shot down, but more often than not, they may end up in a better relationship. Because the guys who don't, they're going to miss every time. The guys who try, they may get more relationships. They may find the perfect person through it. Many guys don't ask girls out. They don't talk to them because they're scared. They're scared of taking a risk. Relationships, they're all about risk. If you're a husband and you want a deeper, more intimate relationship with your wife, that's going to be risky because that means you're going to have to actually open yourself up and become more vulnerable and tell her what you're really thinking and feeling. And some men don't even know, so they got to go in there and figure it out, and that's scary. Being vulnerable and real is hard work, and a lot of guys don't do it well, so they have to work it out. That's taking a risk. I'm not saying you have to cry, you don't have to stand in the rain and quote poetry, but being real and authentic, for many men, that's very risky. It's hard for us. Maybe because we got shot down by other people. We think we should have it all together. We should be tough and strong. But I want to challenge you. If you want a deeper relationship, take more risk with it, and you'll have stronger relationships throughout your life. Guys, in conclusion, risk-taking is just part of being a whole man. It's not just for the guys in the romantic comedies. It's for all of us. You'll discover a lot more about yourself as you take risk in your life. I'm not saying you take dumb risk. And this is where you want to be careful with your risk, but you learn. You take a risk. If it works out, you step ahead. If it doesn't, you still learn and you become a better man.